You are welcome to basic programming. If you want to advance your basic programming knowledge, then you are in the right place. So if you love this channel, please subscribe to this channel. So let me quickly run the program I have on my screen. And as you know, I'm using basic compiler for mobile phone. You can download it in Play Store. Just type basic compiler. So let me quickly show you what we have for today before we now dive into the explanation in proper way. So I will come out of this, then I will quickly go to the slide where I can show you. Alright, as you know, we are here to advance our knowledge in basic programming. So let's quickly do a recap of what we did last time. Alright, as you know, basic program can be written in many ways and you will still achieve the same aim or goal. So that is why I will show you this simple program, and you will see that instead of having the programs that you are seeing to add 5 and 10, the two programs are the same. They are one of the same kind, but the difference between the two is that one has 4 lines while the other has 2 lines, but they will still give you the same answer. So that's the way you can write program. That is why it is possible for two programmers to write the same program and write it in a different ways. Alright, so let me show you some programs that we're going to write under this basic programming. So here is another program to add 1 to 50. So we're going to practice that and see the results. Alright, now here is another program that we are going to write. It's the same, but if you look at the first one, they are a little bit different. So we have our 3 of that program. We will try it to see the results. Alright, here is another program to determine integer number if that integer is even or odd. Alright, now let's check another one. Now here is another program with many print statements to display age, name, sex, date of birth, maths and English for us. So we'll practice that and we will still see what we can change in that program that can give us another thing. Alright, like maybe the print statement, maybe we can change it for input. Alright, now there's what we call built-in functions. Most of the things you are seeing on the screen, square root, absolute value, integer, sine, tan, cos, and exponential, they are built-in functions because they are used to perform a specific function in programming. So when you are using it, this is how you can type them in a short form. That's why we call it built-in functions. It has been built. It is embedded in the programming language. Alright, now here's another program to square root. Now what we are doing is that we are practicing the square root or the built-in functions starting from square root. So we can pick any of the built-in functions and practice that as well. Alright, this is another square root of 9 and 7. Alright, here is another one. This is another square root of 9 and 7. So let's check another one. This is another program to find the cos of 3 numbers. So you can come here anytime to check back when you rewind to see what the program look like. You can write it on a sheet of paper, then you can now go to basic compiler to test the program. That's the essence of producing these slides. Alright, now here's another program. Now there's another type of built-in functions that we call, that is used for string processing, and here is an example of that. So we're going to use that in the course of our lesson today. So here is another one using writing it with concatenation. So when we get to that place, you will understand it more. So here is another one, still concatenation. Here is another one using the same string processing built-in functions. All right, now here is another one, and here is another program. So when we test the program, you will understand why when you are working with something, why it is giving you one answer, especially when you are on a website. All right, here is another one, and here is another one. It's the same processing, string processing built-in functions. Here is another one. Now there's what we call looping. Looping means to repeat, repetition in a program, to repeat a portion of the program more than once. So we can use either for, next, while, and when to do that. All right, now this is a program written with when. So what we are going to do is that we will write some with for, next, while we will write some with when, while, and when. All right, so this is another one, and here is another one, and here is another one. And the last thing we're going to do is to work on in one-dimensional array. So when we get there, we will explain what array is and how we can use it in programming. So this is another example of one-dimensional array. All right, so let's start. So I will go out of here and we will now start with the program. So let's go back to our basic compiler. So I will go back from here and I will remove everything. Then I would like us to quickly start with a simple program from our slide. So I will write what the program is all about, and remember, rem is a remark and it will not show anything in the program, but we are using it to tell the person that is not there when you are writing the program what the program is all about. So that's why you will not see it. If we want it to display in our program, then we have to use another function to do that. So a equal 5, then b equal 10, then print c equal a plus b, then print c. You will see the difference between this program. Now let's run this program and see what it will give us. As you can see, our answer is 15. So let's go back and see. Now this is one method of writing this particular program, but another programmer can come up with another way, and that's the one we are going to try. It's the same thing, just watch and see what I will do there. So I will now put colon, then for my print, that's why the program will now become 2 lines. So I'll put. Now let's run the program and see what the answer will look like. You see, still the same thing. The answer is 15. All right, so that's the program. You see, this one is 2 lines, but the first one is 3 lines, and here we separate it with colon. So now let me remove everything on the screen, then we write another program. Now this one, rem a program to display 5 factorial. So I will represent it with this. Alright, so the first thing I will do is that I will type fact to represent factorial equal, so I will put 1. Then I will now separate it like the last program we wrote with colon. Then I will put j equal 5. Then I will go down. Then I will still write factorial equal factorial, that is the same factorial, times j, that is asterisk j. Then go down. Then I will now use print statement to display it. Print. Then I will put quote. Then I will type factorial. Then the sign or the symbol. Then I will put equal to, so that this factorial will display. Then put semicolon. Then I will now put facts. Alright, so if I run this program, you will see what it will display for me. And remember, factorial is 1, while j is 5. So if you multiply factorial by j, what will it give you? It's still 5. So let's run the program and see. You see, okay, there's something missing. So let me see. It's like there's a code. Okay, this is the place here. I didn't close the quotes. So that's how you debug error in programming. So let me run it and see what will happen. You see, factorial is 5 because in our line 2 we already have our factorial as 1. Then we now have j as 5. So if you multiply factorial by j, it will still give you 5. So I believe you understand that. Now let me remove the program again and write another program. Now run a program to print 1 to 5. Alright, so this program I will use num to represent it. I can use maybe a to represent it, but let me use num. Then equal 0 0. Okay, then for num equal 1 to 50, that is to step 2. Step 2. Then I will go down. Then I will say num equal, that is, what if number equals number plus 1 again. So I already have number as 2 there. You will see what the answer will give me. Now I will now use next num. Then let me use print. I need one. Print. Then open the quotes. The sum of the number. The sum of the number is. So I need to close the quote, then use semicolon, then the sum is num. Now let me run this program to check if there's any error there. Alright, you see the sum of the number is 52, because if you want to 50, so the computer pick 50, and we already have for num equals to 1, then that num again, that's why we have num equal to num plus 1. So we already have 2 there, so that's why it's now giving us as 52. So let's write another program close to the to this one that we wrote. Alright, so still the same thing, run a program to add 1 to 5 to 5. Okay, alright, so I will still use num equal, this one is like the second program I wrote, 0. I will separate this one with colon since I don't want to use many line. Then I have sum equal 0. Then I will go to the next line. So I now have num equal num plus 1 plus 1. Then I will go down. I will write sum equal sum plus num. Then print sum. Alright, so let's test this program and see what the program will give us. Alright, it's showing 1. That is, the answer is 1 because we only have one number there. So if we change this particular area to like 5, let's see what it will give us. It will give us 5. So that's what this program is all about. So it depends on the number that we put there, and remember that our num and sum at the beginning in line 2 is 0. So it's when we get to line 3 that we now have num equals num plus 5, or so anything plus 0 will still give you the number. So that's why in line 4 you have sum equals sum plus num, and which give you 5. Alright, so let's test one more program which look like this, but this one we will use it to print number. Okay, let me erase this. So we will use this one to print number less than 5. Alright, so let's write the program. So I will still write num equal 0, then num equal num plus 1, print num, Now if I want to use if then else statements, if num is less than, I believe you still remember less than sign, less than 5 is 5, then print num. So that num must be in quotes, num, then close the quotes. Right, something is missing, num so now let me test this program to see. You see the answer is 1 because we already have in our line 3 here num plus 1. So when we would now say print num, that is num that is in step 2, that is 0. When we get to 3, we say num equals num plus 1, then print num. Now, what if we change it from less than to greater than? Let's see what will happen. Alright, then let's run the program. You see? So it's because of that number that we have there. Alright, so let's write another program. Now this program will complete our if else. So let's write a program to input an integer. To input an integer. Alright, so I would like us to use input statement. So input, then quote, then we use enter an integer. Then we use semicolon, then put num, then we put remainder equal. There are some words that when you type it, the computer already understand, the program understand what you are writing. Like when you write mode 2, which is still plus, which is still multiplication. So if remainder is equal to 0, then print even. Hex print hot. So that our hot will also be in quotes. So what this program is all about is to check if that number is odd or even. So the computer will automatically pick an integer number and it will test whether the number is even or integer. Now there will be an error in what I typed, so this has to move close to this like this, but it's the same. So let's test the program. As you can see, the number it picked is even. So that's another simple program. Alright, now I would like us to write one long program, though it's not long. We can achieve that in a few minutes. So write a program to enter the name, comma, age, comma, sex, comma, date of birth, that's what I represent by DOB, then math, comma, then English, that is the scores of a student. Now you will see that in this program I will use more of print statement to display that, but we can still use input statements. But this particular basic program, if you are using the version on system, you can change most of the thing to input and the computer will ask you to input it. But this version of basic does not allow that. So Instead of using input, let me use print instead. Print, enter name of students, not if, of students. Then I will close the quote. So one thing about this one is that if you are writing the program like this, you need to provide everything since you are using print statement. Like for example, if I test only this program now, it will show me that enter the name of student, that is the name is Mark. Alright, so there's something that happened here, so I need to separate it with comma so that it will give me the second one. So run, you will see what happened. You see, so that's why that quote is not showing again. So now let me go to the next one, print. So I will highlight this since it's the same thing, so it's just to change few things there. So to this place, maybe the comma, okay, then copy. So I will come here, then paste. So I will now edit it so that to save time. So this one is sex of student, sex of student. So I will say the sex is male. Then I will close the quotes. Alright, then I will still use print, and then I will paste again since it's the same thing. Now let me use age. So the age of student, so I will say age is 10. Then I will close the quotes. I believe you are following. So I will still write print. Okay, let me use the computer. So let me paste again. So let me remove one. So let me put DOB for date of birth. Okay, date of birth of student. So what date should I put? Alright, so let me write it first. Date of birth, so that is, so 30th, let's say 2, let's say 2019. Okay, let's say 2010. Alright, so it means I have to close the quotes. Now print. So let me paste it. So enter scores. Enter scores in maths. Scores in maths. Enter scores in maths. So I put maths scores is 95. Then I will close the quotes. Then I will still want to use print. So let me paste. So scores in English. Enter scores in English. So put English scores is 98. And let me close the quote. Alright, so let's run this program and see what it will give us. Right, so I'm running, so you see, so everything we have been writing since is what is shown on the screen. But let's say you want to use inputs. Let's test that. So it's still the same thing. So where I have my print here, we change. So, and most of the things that I put, I'll be the one to enter it. So what I will do is that check the slide and check the second program that has input and try it on your own and see the effects. Alright, time will not permit us to do that here. Alright, now that's the first program. Now I would like us to move to built-in functions. So I will quickly, these are the built-in functions. So as you can see, once you type it, it will show. So that's for square roots. Then there's another one, ABS, you see, it's showing. So anything you type and it shows in programming, if you are using the mobile version, is built-in function. They have stored it in the computer so that you can use it. So this is another one, integer. This is sign. You will see that once I type, it will show. This is tan, just like the way we do it in math. This is cos, you see. This is exponential, you see. So these are the common one, though we have more than this, but most of the program that you will do or write, you always use this. So that is square root a number, so then absolute value, that is the highest value, the integer of a number, the sign of a number. There's another one, let me put log, you see, is there too. So let's start. Now we're going to write some programs that has this function. So let's start. So the first program we are going to write is, let's put our remark, rem square root of 9. That is, we want to know the square root of 9. You see, program is wonderful. Alright, so what we do first is that there are times when you are writing program, you will put print as the first line before you write any other thing. So that's what I want to do here. So watch and see so that you can do the same. Then I will now separate it with a comma. Then I will put another quote, then square root. Now watch the difference in this program, because when you know it, you will know which one to use when you are writing your program. Then I will close the quotes. So I will now say a equal 9, which is the 9 I want to check the square root of. So I will now put s equal. Now see, once I write, it shows. So I will just click, then I have to represent it with a value. So let me pick a as the value, you see. All right, so let me go down. So I will now say print a comma and s. So let's test this program and see what it will bring out. You see, the number, that is the number I want to check the square root, is 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. You see how simple it is. All right, so I would still like us to write another one, so I will remove from here this second line. Alright, I've removed that. So I will still use this to check the square root of 9 and an integer 7. Right, so what I will do is that I will put a equal 9, b equal 7, then s equal sqr, that is for my square roots, then represent it with a value. So I'll put a. Then what about my integer? Let me remove one square root. So what about my integer? So I will say I will represent my integer with k. It's still the same thing. So I will now say, you know, integer is part of our, you see, is part of our built-in function. So I will say that is, the integer is b, as you can see. So let me go down. So I will now say print, that is the square root separate, and print k separate. Alright, so let's test the program. You see, the square root of 9 is 3, while my integer is still what? 7. But I can rewrite it in another way by carrying this to this place and put a colon. Then once I write it this way, it's what? It's still showing the same thing. Alright, the reason why it's showing the same thing is that they are not of the same type. Alright, so let's test another thing. That's the way you can test program whether something will work or it will not work. You see, this showing there is an error. Alright, let me test a comma. What of comma? You see, still error. So that means that print statement has to go down. Alright, so if you test it this way, it will show. Alright, so now friends, I would like us to quickly run a program, and that program is to find the cos or cosine of 3 numbers. Of 3 numbers. So that's what the program is all about. So the first thing is, I still like to that former program, so I will put print. So print. So I want it to show on top, so I will put cos. Then I will separate everything with a comma. Cos, then another quote, that is cos b. So let me put a here. So move it close so that it can, so I can give it a gap, so it will still work. So far they are in quotes, the computer already understand that. Then comma, then another quote, then cos c, then close the quotes. Alright, you can run this, you will see, but that's not where I'm going. So I want the number to show under each of these. That's why I use print at the beginning. So I will now say A equal 5, then B equal 7, then my C, okay, it should go down. So my C equal 9. Right, then go down. Then I will now use my cos. But when you are using cos, you first represent your cos with either x. So I'll be using x, y, z equal. Then I will now use cos. Then pick. Then see, since I want my cos to be a, I will now put it in the value in brackets. Closed. Then I said I will use x, y, z. So I will now put my cos b, cos in bracket, then b. Alright, close the bracket. Then z, let me use capital letter, equal cos bracket, then for my c. Alright, then I will now say print x. I can use capital x, comma y, comma z. So let's test the program. Alright, this is the program to find cosine of 3 numbers. So, and we have tested only the print. So let's test the full program, you see. So that's cos A, cos B, and cos C. I believe you can see that the program is getting interesting. Alright, so I would like us to find a tangent of a number so that we can test only for the 2. So rem to find tangent of an angle. So I will go down, then I will say print, then I use quote, but let me give it gap. Alright, tangent of an angle, then close the quotes. Then let me go down. So A, that is to represent my A equal, let me use 30, that is the angle is 30. Then x, just like the other one, equal, then I will now say tan. Right, let me pick the tan, the brackets open, then inside the bracket I will now put the value, that is A, then print x. So let's see what the tangent of angle 30, what the tangent is. You see, tangent of an angle is minus 6.405331. All right, so now there's another part of the built-in functions that I mentioned the other time. That's what we call string processing. It's not like mathematical expression that we use, but we can still use it in programming to work on maybe letters, the alphabet. So we will test that. So most of the functions, when you check the slide, you will see most of the functions listed there. So I will quickly write some and explain what they are used for so that you can get it. So we represent it with a $sign. So this one return the rightmost character of a string. When we test the program, you will understand it. Then we have another one left, then with $sign. So this one return the character to the leftmost area. All right, then we still have another one which is mid. So we can still put our $sign. So mid returns the character or string starting at the location of the middle. All right, so let's see another one. There's one len. Okay, that's why it's showing. So len, we return the number of the character in the string. That is how many, like if you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So how many are they if you want to represent them in number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will give you the answer. So there's another one, INSTR. Yes, this. So this one returns the position where one string is found within another string. That's what it does. Then there's another one that look like that. That's str. So this one converts the numeric value into a string. That's what the string processing built-in function does. Then there's another one, val. All right, yeah. So this one converts a string to a numerical value. Why str convert numeric value to a string? And you know string is in letters. So val convert it back to numerical value. So there is C H R. Yes, this one. So this returns character represented by a given ASCII code, that is ASCII code. So that's what that one does. Then there is spaces, this one, you see. So this returns a sequence of a blank space. It depends on how you want to use it. Then there's another one we call EOF, that is end of file. So this indicates end of file. But most of the times, these built-in functions, this string processing, we always use it in sequential file because that's the arrangement like this in ascending order from 1, 2, 3. So we cannot start from 10 and arrange it, because what we are doing in programming, when we are working with line 1, we are working with a memory location in our memory. We are working with a particular location, that is, store this first instruction in memory location 1, the second instruction in memory location 2, the third instruction in memory location 3. That's what we are doing, and that's why it is a program, whether basic program, whether visual,